of the sun in the palm of my hand.
Alright, so I've got a couple Goss builds ready for you, and they will get the job done. They'll do some damage, but most importantly, they're going to be fun, and they're going to be kind of ridiculous. Alright, so the first build that you've seen in the beginning of this video is this one right here. It's pretty crazy, and it's just a lot of fun. I mean, it'll do some damage, but you don't want to get too close into the flames, or else it's going to probably make your game stutter a little bit, drop your frame rate quite a bit. So yeah, it'll get the job done eventually. For this build, essentially what we're doing is using Goss as a weapons platform. Yes, I did say Goss. Goss. Alright, let's get straight to the build. So for Goss, what we've got up here in the ore slot, we've got corrosive projection, so we can get rid of a little bit of the armor. Then we've got rush over here, just because if you run faster, it's going to be more fun with Goss. I mean, that's what you essentially want to do, right? Anyways, we got prime continuity for duration. We've got a little bit of ability strength with Umbral Intensify. Prime flow for a bigger energy pool. And we've got energy nexus, so we have a little bit of energy sustain. So we're constantly regenerating energy. So we get +3 energy regen per second. Got rolling guard, so we can survive easier. We got narrow-minded for more duration, constitution for more duration, and we've got augur message for more duration. Then over here for the arcanes, I've got arcane strike, which 15% chance for +30% attack speed to melee weapons. So we're doing that just because we want to attack even faster with our melee weapons. And of course, if you got one that's maxed out, you can get even more from it. And then we've got mold efficiency, so when our shields are active, we can actually get more duration per second, up to a maximum of 36%. So essentially, even more duration. Now, if you look over here on the side, we've got a total of 326% duration. And then efficiency is 100%, then range, we don't really care about range. And then strength, we got up to 154%. Now, if we take a look down here at his abilities, everything's the same. We got mock rush, we've got kinetic plating, but his third ability, I actually subsumed over and replaced with energized munitions. So basically, this is going to give us more shots out of each magazine that we have per weapon. So you can see he's got 75% ammo efficiency. That's why I can get so many shots off before I have to even reload my Ogris. And that's the weapon I was using, by the way. It was the Kuva Ogris. We'll get to the build for that in just a second. And then his fourth ability, Redline. So what we're using from that is fire rate, attack speed, reload speed, and casting speed. So we're getting all that extra speed, so we're able to lob off a bunch of those Ogris bombs really, really fast. Now we scale for a bunch of duration because basically all these abilities are fixed on duration, except for his first ability. Now, if you want to actually increase the speed at which you can move with this, you want to increase the sprint speed. So if you want to use rush, or if you got the Aura mod sprint boost, you can use that, and that'll actually increase your speed up there by a little bit more. But I've also got a speed build right here that we'll show you in just a second. Now for the Kuva Ogris build, what we've got here in the first mod slot is Night Watch Napalm. Now what this mod is going to do, once your bullets actually explode, it's going to spread that fire everywhere. That's the big orange glow that you were seeing there at the beginning of the video. So now what it does, it disperses napalm, inflicting 30% damage over 6 seconds across a 90% of the explosion area. So that's what that mod is doing right there. We've got galvanized aptitude, so we can actually get extra status chance per kill. And we've got heavy caliber, so we've got extra damage, and it's going to subtract our accuracy. And the accuracy is pretty good for this because galvanized chamber is going to start stacking up our multi-shot. So with a minus accuracy and extra multi-shot, we're going to have bullets that are going to go out and spread apart, and they're going to hit in different places, spreading even more fire. We got prime firestorm, so we can increase the explosion radius of our weapon. We got rhyme rounds and malignant force, so we can get that viral status down there. And then we've got hellfire for the extra heat damage. Then over here, I put vigilante supply, so we can keep up our ammo economy, and we can also increase, maybe get some extra critical hits out of this. Maybe, maybe not. But it's mainly being used for extra ammo pickup. And then we've got primary merciless because we're not going for headshots. We're going to go for any kind of hits that we can get. So we can increase our damage by 30% over 4 seconds, stacking up 12 times. And then for the arcane, we got primary merciless because we're not going for headshots. And so it's on kill plus 30% damage for 4 seconds, and it stacks up to 12 times, and it's going to give us extra reload speed. Now, one thing I want to make sure I mention again is right there in the magazine, we've only got 3 shots. But since we've got energized munitions, we can potentially double that amount before we actually have to reload. Now I went ahead and juiced up his fourth ability, so we've got the extra fire rate and reload speed. So if I go ahead and activate energized munitions now, and we just start launching, we can shoot a lot faster and get this done and over with a lot quicker. And his reload is pretty ridiculous. I went from 170 frames a second down to 47. So it's a fun build, but it's going to drop your frame rate, and probably any of your teammates' frame rate as well. Now with the same exact Gauss build, if we switch weapons over to the Kuva Zar, now this is one of my favorite weapons to use with this build. Now if we get fully juiced up with Gauss again, and then we pop energized munitions, now we're just going to go ahead and just launch this Kuva Zar as much as possible. Now this one will do quite a bit of extra damage compared to the Kuva Ogris. And I personally think it's a lot more fun. Now for my Zar build, what I've got on it is we've got Galvanized Aptitude for extra status chance, we've got Infected Clip, and we've got Prime Cryo rounds so we can actually get that viral status down there. 100 munitions so we can proc slash whenever we hit a crit. Then we've got Critical Delay to increase our crit chance, Vital Sense to increase our crit damage. We've got Heavy Caliber so we can actually increase our regular damage and the spread of our projectiles. We've also got Galvanized Chamber so we can increase our multi-shot. And then Vigilante Supplies for extra ammo pickup, maybe some extra crit chance, and Primary Merciless just so we can get even more damage out of it. Now one thing I do want to point out is over here, you can see that it's got the electricity status. Now if you're not as lazy as me and you want to actually go farm up a Zar that has maybe a toxin status on it instead of the electricity like I did, you could probably potentially trade out and maybe get some extra viral damage on it, or maybe you can do something else with it if you want. But that's what I've got set up on it. Now for the Kuva Zar, the reason why we got viral on here is because we want to potentially proc that slash chance here, so the viral will help that slash do even more damage. Now the next build I'm going to show you is just purely for fun. It is built all around speed. That's all it's built around. So if we go over to upgrades and then we click on speed here, you can see I've got rush for extra sprint speed. Now the one mod that I am missing that would help you out a little bit is if you got the aura mod, I'll throw it up on screen here, sprint boost. So it'll give you an extra 15% sprint speed. But since I don't have it, I went ahead and just threw corrosive projection up here. We've got prime continuity for duration, umbral intensify for a little bit of ability strength, prime flow for extra energy, augur secrets for more strength. Then we've got energy nexus so we can keep our energy regen up. And then for the actual sprint boost mods that I've got on here, I've got a Mars Anguish, which increases our core velocity and sprint speed by 15%. I've got a Mars Hatred, which gives you extra armor and 15% ability strength. And then I've also got a Armored Agility, which gives you sprint speed and armor. So 15% sprint speed and 40% armor. But up here for our sprint speed, you can see a total of 2.74. Now there is another mod that you can throw on. So if you got some kind of rifle and you go to upgrade, you can actually use Amalgam Serration to increase your sprint speed by 23%, or even more if you max it out. So it gives you damage and sprint speed. But just to show you down here on his first ability, Mach Rush, if you hover over it, you can see that our speed is 34.28 meters a second. So if we take off Rush and we go back down there, it's going to be at 30.91. So let's go ahead and put Rush back on there, and then you can see that it went back up to 34.28. So anytime you increase your sprint speed, you're going to increase the speed of your Mach Rush. Now, another thing that I want to mention is I actually tried Infested Mobility down here, that it actually increases your sprint speed by 115%. So we can go ahead and test that out real quick. So if we activate Infested Mobility, it's activated. You can see that our normal sprint speed, we're actually pretty fast. But when we use Mach Rush, I can't really tell if we're moving any faster or not. So let's let Infested Mobility wear off, grab some more energy, and then we'll just go to regular. Okay, so this is our normal Mach Rush. Alright, now if we pop Infested Mobility, it looks about the same to me. I don't really see a difference. I do see a difference when you're regularly sprinting though. So, there we go, Infested Mobility just wore off. Now if we activate it, we are moving pretty quick. But overall, I don't think it affects your Mach Rush at all. It's just a little experiment I was checking out. Doesn't seem like it really works. And the last thing before I forget to mention it is I've got 3 red shards on Goss here. So I've got 2 for ability duration. Then I've got 1 for a little bit of extra strength. And I've got 2 of these green shards here to increase my corrosion stacks by 2. So when I am using a cost assist, I can potentially strip the armor completely of my enemies. The build setup for it is we've got Stalking Fan. I just threw Dispatch Overdrive up here, so 60% movement speed for 15 seconds after your heavy attack hit. And we've got Berserker Fury for more attack speed, Condition Overload, so we can do more damage to enemies affected by statuses. Prime Pressure Point for extra overall damage, Weeping Wounds for extra status. I've got Carnus Mandible so we can get extra slash and extra status chance. Voltic Strike, so we got that electricity status here. And then we've got Vicious Frost and Virulent Scourge for that viral status combined on there. But the cool thing about this melee is it's already got Corrosive built into it. So it got Corrosive, Viral, and Electricity now. So with Electricity, we can trigger melee influence and potentially spread all three of those statuses across a bunch of different enemies. Alright guys, that's all I've got for you, just those two builds. Now, like I said, they're not the most damage-inducing builds ever, but they are a lot of fun. So you got the speed build, and then you've got that extra weapons platform setup, Goss. That will potentially break your game, I guess. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video or stream.